Okay, hello, Wilfred. Thank you so much for joining this meeting today.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate this opportunity to share insights to prospective students about GMAT.
Thank you so much. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where you're from, how you grew up, where you went to school, what did you score, and what do you currently do?
Okay, my name is Wilfred Mwiti. I was born and raised up in Meru.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I attended the local primary school, that
Mm-hmm.
is Mon Primary School.
Mm-hmm.
Later expand to a school called Muramwanki Primary School,
Mm-hmm.
where I completed my KCPE.
Mm-hmm.
I was the second student in my slot with
Mm-hmm.
352 marks.
Mm-hmm.
That was the ground in which I got an admission to Chuka High School
Mm-hmm.
and completed my Form 4 examination, that is KCPE, in the year 2011. I was among
KCC.
KCSE, sorry, in the
Mm-hmm.
year 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I was among the best students there, also with grade A minus.
Mm-hmm.
I got an opportunity to do a Bachelor of Science in Economics and Statistics at Egerton University.
Okay.
And basically at Egerton, I also majored in my spare time doing statistical and accounting packages and including the certifying public accounts.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I was out of school, I was able to do up to level 4 of the same CPA.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
On completion, I completed in the year 2016, and immediately after school, I got an opportunity to work as a marketing and research officer and also as an accounts assistant with the Translation Circle Limited in Meru.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a year and so and got another opportunity to work as a junior accountant in a legal firm in Nairobi called HKM Legal.
Mm-hmm.
Where I also worked for like a year and so got another opportunity to work with as a consultant in issues of property management and real estate,
Mm-hmm.
where I currently work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a very nice background. Okay, so I'm aware that you failed your GMAT at first attempt. What was your score in the first and the second attempt, and what was the main reason why you failed at first attempt?
Basically, my it's true that I failed in my first trial in GMAT. I did my GMAT examination in May 17th, 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to get a score of 410, which to me was nowhere near being satisfactory.
Yes.
So I went back. By there, I was a bit depressed because it was against my expectations. Yet,
Mm-hmm.
I think there are some factors that really contributed to the mediocre score.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back and thinking that my dream to the US was shattered.
Mm-hmm.
And some months down the line, some months later, I sat for the examination again and scored a 580.
Okay, that's good.
Basically, essentially, what contributed to my first fail in the examination,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is is a constellation of aspects such as poor time management
Mm-hmm.
and issues of, I think, I failed to simulate certain practice tests like
Mm-hmm.
those found in the MBA.com. I
Mm-hmm.
went into the examination without having done any MBA.com practice
Okay.
text.
Okay.
Also, at the height of the examination, I think I was a bit nervous,
Mm-hmm.
and such anxiety really contributes to uh, failing in GMAT.
Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah.
so your failure to prepare very well, is it because you thought maybe GMAT was easy, or why exactly, or had you not like taken time to do what you needed to do?
Basically, my one of the sessions that I really failed in was the verbal session,
Mm-hmm.
and it was contributed so much by assumptions that
Mm-hmm.
because I've always looked at myself as a guy who knows English,
Mm-hmm.
so that assumption
Mm-hmm.
trickled the examination room, and I thought that to the preparation for the examination, and I thought that this thing I don't have to study a lot
Mm-hmm.
in detail.
Mm-hmm.
I think when the examination came,
Mm-hmm.
the picture at the exam room,
Mm-hmm.
whatever I interacted with,
Mm-hmm.
the was I think I really regretted on why I didn't study so hard in the verbal session, because as far much as I'm concerned, I think I scored. I was in the 10th percentile in the verbal session, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really contributing to the overall degradation of my grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So what did you score in your second attempt?
So my second attempt in the final examination, in the generally or in the verbal session,
No. The total score,
the total score was 580.
580. That's
Yeah,
a big jump from 410.
it was a big jump to with like 170 points.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's great. You're actually among the top 3. So even in this interview, I'm just interviewing like the top, those who have the top 3 scores in the program so far.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure as we keep along with this program, we're gonna get a few more people scoring higher than that. But
Yeah.
they'll have learned a lot from you guys since you are sharing your experiences, and thank you so much for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying actually to look at your score here. I mean, as at your GMAT report.
Yeah.
Sure. See, you can see your GMAT score report, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so verbal, you are doing badly, like initially 15. You are in the 10th percentile. So you are
The percentile. That's a mediocre score.
yeah. And then quantitative 33 to 41, that's good.
Yeah.
But apparently you didn't do well in analytical writing the second attempt. Any reason for that?
Uh, Basically, I think um, I didn't I didn't think so much that I came to realize later that the analytical rating assessment
Mm-hmm.
really when one is applying to B schools.
Yeah,
So I didn't take that part seriously
yeah,
with integrated reasoning.
yeah,
And I think if I had taken into account that that thing was of so much importance to me initially,
yeah,
I think that score could have been better.
yes,
So it happened as a result of me thinking that it couldn't count much in the final analysis.
yes.
Yeah,
I see. See now, those who are coming through the program, they're gonna be learning out of all this. So that's really why it's good
yeah,
that
sure.
providing this information to them so that they can really understand exactly where they need to put in the work. So on average, how many hours of study did you use to put in your studies for the GMAT exam, especially the second time? And I want to dwell on the first attempt because that one it was not good. The second attempt, how much did you use to put in per day
In
on
the
average?
second attempt, on average, I could spend like, considering that I was someone who is employed in a corporate organization,
Mm-hmm.
I used to spend an average of like 3 hours every day studying
Yes.
during the weekdays,
Mm-hmm.
up to 6 hours during weekends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so did you go through each and every page of our hard copy materials that we provided to you? Like, do you study every single thing in those books?
Basically, the materials, I think they consist of a summarized point and questions with answers.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, when one is beginning the process of GMAT, you have to ensure at least you have passed through all that so that you can get to know what to expect in the when you are doing the examination.
Yes.
So considering even the time that I've been in the program, I took a lot of time going through every of the material that was provided to me.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I was able to, with a friend of mine, Kelvin, we were able to maneuver and even pay for the GMAT subscriptions to the GMAT, subscribe to the GMAT club.
Yeah.
Where we are able to get limitless questions that really expected in the examination, and I think that really help in getting a higher score in the second attempt.
I actually like that. You went that extra mile of even trying to get subscription on your own to get more questions and all that. That was really smart of you. That's very impressive. Cool.
So basically, I think as far much as the materials are important, the online community has a lot to offer to someone who is potentially in the process of doing GMAT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there is also something that apart from the materials and the online stuffs and such,
Mm-hmm.
there's what we call like a GMAT club question of the day, the Kaplan question of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Those questions kept me in a consistent mood whereby I expect today I'm getting 2 questions from GMAT club and Kaplan.
Yes.
So they really assist. And apart from the materials, I think going an extra mile to getting the materials that were providing, going an extra mile to get other avenues of where I can recoup what I earned, went a long way in helping in the second attempt.
Cool. So how long did it take you from failing the first attempt to doing the second exam? How many months did you take to prepare again?
Basically, what I can say is that my time in the program has revolved around failing, giving up, and passing. Before I did the first examination, I spent like 5 months, and then came the 410. After getting the 410, I actually felt like this thing was not something that I was so much.
It was not for you.
I actually started looking for admissions at the University of Nairobi. And through your persistent calls, by the way, that is what made me rethink about making a final trial. I can say my second attempt was the final trial. And I really thought that I needed to give it my best so that I cannot maybe be in a position of blaming myself later.
Yeah.
So between failing and doing the second examination, because the first examination we did in the month of May, yeah? And it took me 4 months before I really reconsidered taking the examination again. So in September, that is the time I started revising intensely for the examination, which took me another 4 months before the examination.
Okay.
Before the final examination that I scored for 580 marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, personally, I've taken like a year between the 3 stages of failing, giving up, and passing.
Wow. So this is something that anyone who is joining the program can actually learn from you, because see, when you're not really, if you're not well prepared, you
Yeah,
can, this one can be a long, long journey, So
a
yeah,
long journey.
yeah. So it really requires a lot of sacrifice, consistency, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're not like that, you're gonna struggle, and probably maybe you won't even be able to get here, because as far as this program is concerned, you really have to get a 550. It's very,
exactly.
very competitive. You know that already because you've already submitted your applications, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
schools, you're competing, you're not just competing with Kenyans, you're competing especially with Asians.
Yeah,
These IT programs in the US, most of those, like if you go to those classes,
yeah,
70% of them, it's Indians. And they do really well in this GMAT. You go to those online, you know, uh, go through on those online resources, you realize that pretty much most of the people who do all that, they're usually Indians. They contribute and all that. Yeah, so they do really, really well.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, the competition is there. That's why in this program you really have to score a 550. Otherwise, if you don't, it would be very, very hard for us to get you a school.
I understand. Sure, sure.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
mean, there's still schools here that don't even take GMAT, but
yeah,
usually those schools are not good schools. Those schools, they don't even partner with the lenders that would get you the loans. So
yeah,
unless someone has the money to all the millions to pay, then they can
yeah,
afford not to pass the GMAT exams. But if you really need the money, you have to pass, the GMAT, so that you can
yeah,
get a good school that partners with lenders. Because see, also the lenders,
yeah,
the reason why they don't partner with just any other school is because they know the schools that they partner with, those schools, they usually attract brilliant students, because
yeah.
anyone who scores a 550, really, that's a very smart person, you
And
know.
basically, and essentially, I think also the average income of students from those schools after they are done with the studies are quite high. So
Yes,
lenders usually expect that the payments are going to be made
yes,
without a
correct.
lot of strain.
Exactly, yeah. So because these are unsecured loans, so they look at your probability of getting a job. So someone who
Yeah,
is smart, they are more likely to get a job than someone who is not smart. So these lenders, they know that these schools, because these are usually like top state universities, they
yeah,
attract good students, and those good students, they are more likely to be employed because they are smart. So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
so
Yeah,
that's why I always like people like to reason, like even those who are coming through the program, right? So if you don't show that you're actually smart, and the only way that you can do it is through the GMAT, then you
yeah,
can't even get the loans, because even those lenders, they actually ask for your GMAT score.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you really have to be good. Like you really have
So
to put in all the effort in this. If you really
you,
want.
GMAT is basically no shortcut.
Yep, no shortcut, no shortcut.
You have to sit down and put all distractions away and ensure at least you have made it through the examination
Yeah.
successfully.
Yeah, cool. So for the materials that we have for studying, that's the online resources and the hard copy books. So which one, in your opinion, do you think made a big difference for you?
Basically, all I can say is that there is no material that is not important in the program. The
Mm-hmm.
materials that you sent us are
Mm-hmm.
equally important because they lay a basis of someone understanding what is expected in the examination.
Yes.
And through that, maybe you're in a position of getting to know there are some other things that you can do that can propel you forward to passing the examination. However,
Mm.
uh, interacting with the GMAT club was one of the most revealing experiences that I had in GMAT.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
GMAT club as a combination of quite handical questions. And when
Mm-hmm.
you expose yourself to these handical questions,
Mm-hmm.
you find that other questions that you come across are quite easy to tackle.
Yes.
And then exposure to these questions also raises your bar to the expectation that you can pass the examination, in the sense that most of the questions in GMAT Club are high level questions that 600, 700 level.
Yes.
So an interaction with the GMAT was one of the major breakthroughs that was one of the leeways that made me make a breakthrough in the examination.
You mean GMAT club?
GMAT club, I mean.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So between the four sections of GMAT, that is the quant, integrated reasoning, verbal, analytical writing. Which one was the most challenging for you, and why?
Uh, Considering all the sessions, I think verbal initially and assumed the session. Because and I want to tell anyone maybe doing the gym, functions are not good when tackling these exams. Because when you assume you know something, you are likely to scale down your motivation in doing the thing, in tackling the challenges that comes with the stuffs as it did to me when it came to verbal. I'm saying this because verbal was quite a challenge in the sense of managing time.
Yeah, and I think also, and not just you actually, so far, I think pretty much everybody in the program has not performed as good as the way they've performed in the quant section for some reason. And I think also it's also because maybe because people, we think like we are good in English, we can talk, we can write. So we tend to think that it's much more easier and assume that math is much more harder and we practice more on the quant section.
Yeah.
Because even like in the program, actually, we focus mostly, I mean, we make sure that anyone who is joining the program at least had a B class in math. So these are people who are really good in math. But also we don't look at English because we assume that, they're good in English. So, but yeah, I see.
What I've understood with the verbal is that one can be so good in English, and maybe you enscored an A in English, and end up getting a grade that is lower than someone who got even a C in English.
Yeah.
So I think verbal requires a great deal of time management, especially when tackling the reading comprehension.
Yeah.
I found myself struggling to manage time when I was handling the reading comprehension part of the verbal session. And unfortunately, I didn't even answer 3 questions in the examination, which translated, I think, in a profound impact in the final score that I got in the session because of time management.
Yeah.
So that is one of the session that was quite tricky to me.
Yeah. And I would encourage anybody everybody who's joining the program, really. I know like studying like the verbal section is not fun. It's not as fun as quant, because quant you are like solving, solving math stuff, and it makes it much more fun because you are trying to solve something. Quant can be a little bit boring, but again, you have to put in the work that is needed. You can't just ignore the verbal section.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And again, also the integrated reasoning and your analytical writing, as much as they don't contribute to the GMAT score, the schools still look at those, those scores, because remember, at the end of the day, you're competing with other people to join these programs. And these programs, they usually don't have a lot of people actually. For example, like, here at University of South Florida, class, like about 20 students.
University of South Florida, 20 students.
Yes, in the spring class, their class, only 20 students. Yeah, out of those 20, about 15 they are Indians.
That was quite a low number.
Yes, she's the only African. So usually these classes are not as huge as, like, for example, the MBA class.
Yeah.
because the MBA it's easy. These are like these courses, these programs that we want you guys to do. These are not easy programs. You know, analytics, it's not an easy program, so it's not for everybody out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so and that's why also they are very competitive, so they take the best of the best because they don't have like big, you know, classes. So you know, so you have to be, you really have to do very, very well, and especially for those who don't have. See, also you're accepting at this point in time, you are still also accepting anyone who scored a second class lower, at
Yeah.
least, but at least as long as they had at least a 3.0 GPA, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
If you have like a 3.0 GPA, you really have to like really do well in the GMAT so that it can, you know, it can create a much better picture of you, academic
Yeah.
picture of you when you are trying to compete with the other students, because you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Absolutely. Very true.
Yeah. Okay. So you passed the GMAT exam, the second attempt. So what do you think was the best? Do you think that was the best that you could have done?
Uh, what I can say is that GMAT is quite determined by a number of factors,
Mm.
including your mental preparedness
Mm-hmm.
and some other factors that might be to some extent beyond your control in the
Mm-hmm.
day of examination.
Mm-hmm.
But bearing in mind that I didn't even complete my verbal session,
Mm-hmm.
and I also maybe think there's some parts of the quant section that I could have improved.
Mm-hmm.
I believe another trial would go a long way in maybe propelling me to the level of 600 and 700 level there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, tell me, like the day before the exam, right? What did you do to make sure that you are fully ready for the exam?
Personally, I did not do anything the day before the examination.
Mm-hmm.
I did my last MBA.com practice test 2 days before the examination,
Mm-hmm.
whereby I scored a 570,
Mm-hmm.
and done another one before that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the day before the examination was an opportunity of taking a break mentally,
Mm-hmm.
so I can prepare myself well and go to the examination without a lot of baggage in terms of tiredness and such.
Mm-hmm.
So that day, actually, I took a stroll around my place and came back.
Mm-hmm.
Slept very early in the night,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the mornings came, prepared just normally. At
Mm-hmm.
least went to the examination an hour earlier.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Cool. So you went to the UNISERV exam center, the one in Westlands, right?
yeah, 40 tower.
Okay. So what should someone expect from there? Like, you know, because for those who have not gone there yet, so what will they expect?
I mean, going to the one of the things that you have to remember is that you at least have to read through the requirement of the examination in the
Mm-hmm.
GMAT list of the requirements that they expect at least you to partake in the day for the examination. But one of the most important things is that you should at least carry your ID or passport there,
Mm-hmm.
because the first thing is that when you enter the customer care desk, they have to scan through your fingers to see that the ID and whatever particulars you have are a true representative of you. And
Yes.
then at least you have to ensure that you don't carry anything to the examination room.
Mm-hmm.
You're given a place where you keep your things on a lock and key,
Mm-hmm.
and you can only access them after the examination.
Okay.
Yeah. Then going to the examination room, you are issued with a marker pen and an erasable like a pad, like a board, an erasable board, where you go through your calculations, anything that you want to scribble down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. So finally, what advice would you give to those joining the program and hoping to pass this GMAT at first attempt, not 2 times? Because 2 times you waste the money, it costs a lot.
Yeah,
So at
yeah,
first attempt, what would you advise them? You know, they don't, you know, you want to advise them, you know, to do things differently from what you did. So what would you tell them?
yeah. As you have said, the failure comes with a cost.
Yeah.
Like and to undergo a cost of another 25,000
Yes.
to repeat the same. And basically, what I can say is that don't assume anything in GMAT. Even if you are as good, you feel you are as good as anything. At least be very specific with the revision that you conduct on yourself. Because like Babo, don't assume that maybe you know the English so much. Even
Yeah.
if you have to use English, go to the books and get the strategies that are supposed to be that are required to be applied in the examination. At least work on them.
Yes.
Then the other thing is that GMAT, when you stay for a long time without maybe reading through the materials, the more the momentum of the examination goes away. So preparation is subject to a lot of consistency in the way you tackle things and
Yeah.
such. And that with that, I think one is assured of making it through the thing, cracking the GMAT.
Awesome, awesome. That was really good advice. So thank you so much again. Thank you so much for being, coming and sharing your experience for the GMAT. And I hope this will help those who are coming into the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.